everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of The Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. Here she is. If you're a legislator and she's trying to find you, she will do so. Whether it be by text, by phone call, or she'll just walk right up to you. She will find you. And with her, as always, not the Legislative Director, Jason Thompson. Oh, yeah, this is the Legislative Director, Amber Marr. I don't even know if I introduced you. I was just so caught up in the fact that you're running down legislators like a Terminator.
I think you did.
I don't know. Either way, it's like, what was that, a Liam Neeson movie, Taken? Like a certain set of skills. I will find you. That's exactly what's happening here.
I'm not a big movie person.
Considering the blank look on your face when I mentioned it, I could tell. Anywho, hopefully you've maybe seen that movie. If not, basically what it comes down to is that Amber, we're getting into the last week of the session.
I thought you were going to give a rundown.
Which, that is a different show. But if you see...
thought you were about to give a rundown of the movie. Okay,
she does have a special set of skills. She is running down legislators, text, phone calls. We're entering into the waning days of the Indiana General Assembly 2023 session. Amber.
Yes.
How you doing?
Well, I'm here.
That is correct.
9 more days. I mean, I'm not great at math, so you might need to check that. But I think
who's counting?
9 days. 9 days.
So we're almost to the end. We're getting into conference committees. So this is what we would call the silly season with regards to legislating. Let's talk about some of the silly things that are happening, as well as some of the other bills that folks have heard about before, where they are, what's going on.
You use the word silly. I would use a word I can't use.
We'll have to do an uncut version of this show for our hardcore fans.
There is so much that is going on that is not great, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Not great.
Not great.
Okay.
Oh no.
Bing. Days since we've not said the word great.
I did
Move
it
to zero
this
again.
time. Okay, well, I got to come up with another word. See, I was trying not to use a bad word, and then I used a word I was still wasn't supposed to use.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Did your best.
So, kind of all of the things that we were talking about, beating around the bush of how things are not going well. Let's start out with House Bill 1046, which I believe is actually, I don't even know the title.
I think it's Transportation Matters.
Yeah. Well, because see, this was a bill that we weren't watching. And so, yeah, is that really what it is? Transportation Matters. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, look at that.
Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I know.
It's real.
A little taken aback that I got it correct.
Oh, I thought you looked it up.
No.
Okay. House Bill 1046 is titled Transportation Matters. And why are we worried about this bill? Well, it has been scheduled for a conference committee now. We just found this out for Monday at 2 p.m. The reason why House Bill 1046 was dissented upon is because, and we might have talked about this last week, maybe not. Senator Freeman had 3 amendments on House Bill 1046 when it was in the Senate. And on second reading, he did not call those amendments. Those 3 amendments were like Groundhog Day. And it was around trying to put up barriers for our Indianapolis-Marion County public transit system in any way, shape, or form. So one was the prohibition of dedicated lanes. Another one was in the surrounding counties that the Marion County transit system had already specified that could do the referendum for themselves, like Marion County did, to build out the system. If one of those counties chose to do that, Marion County had to hold another referendum. So it was just another layer of red tape to expand out the transit system. Anyway, the story here is those amendments were not called in the Senate. So went past that. Okay, great. But shenanigans still happening.
Shenanigans.
So 1046 passed out of the Senate, went back to the House. Representative Morrison dissented because Senator Freeman wants to add amendments that he did not add in the Senate that deal with, you guessed it, the Indianapolis-Marion County Public
We're
Transit System.
Still doing this.
So we are reaching out to all folks that are, I'm sorry, I'm turning this off. Okay. We're reaching out to all folks who are on the conference committee and expressing that we would really like for this language to continue to be left out of House Bill 1046, mainly also because it has not been vetted throughout the entire process. None of these amendments or topics or changes have gone through any committee this session. So, although we've been doing this for now years upon years upon years.
I can't even tell you, like, I feel like every year we're doing this. Every year.
Every year we are doing this, except this is the scariest one because conference committee is not a time to be doing this. And it's just because the process is not super transparent.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know really what's being talked about, what's being going on. It's just, I feel very, I don't know what the word is, but we're going to get that straightened up real quick. You know, like get a handle on things.
No, I know. That was just like, yeah, we're going to take care of this.
I just mean, you know.
I know what you mean.
It's time.
We're getting into it.
No, you cannot sleep on the job right now. You've got to get up and get going. You know what I'm saying?
We're getting after it.
9 days, not ramping down, ramping up.
Yep. All gas, no brake.
Yes. So on Monday at 2 p.m., we are going to be, if they allow testimony, they don't have to, in the conference committee. So we will just say, word on the street is there's some language going in because we don't know what the language will be, but that we would like it to not go in, and for people to respect the fact that improved transit is better for all. And so any barriers that are put up against that are bad.
Yeah, we should be making it easier for folks to use it, not harder. Or if there is a county or whomever that wants to expand it, we shouldn't be making it harder for them to do so as well. So it is.
Well, that's where we are. But come Monday,
yeah,
we will have more information. So
yes.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cool.
And if you feel the need to reach out to your legislator or Representative Morrison or any of the conferees, which I could probably run that list down real fast. Let me see. Okay. Because we are also touching base with all of these folks. But just quickly, House conferees are Representative Morrison, Representative Harris. The advisors are Representative Pressel, Morris, Linus, and Fleming. Senate conferees are Senator John Ford and Senator J.D. Ford. And the Senate advisors are Senator Hunley and Senator Deary. So if you feel the need to reach out to any of those folks, please do so and tell them that you want any of that language that could potentially be the downfall of the transit system. We do not want it in House Bill 1046.
You heard her.
Okay.
And so it shall be so.
So we can move on.
We can move
but
on.
That is a big deal.
Yes. We will try to link to some things that for where you guys can go to maybe take some action. There might be something along those lines coming out very soon. Amber, on that great note, what else is happening?
I can't remember if we talked about this last week or not. So House Bill 1050, another not so great item. I think we did. Last Thursday, Addison Pollock was testifying with some of our volunteers at the Indianapolis City County Council around a no right turn on red ordinance in the downtown Indianapolis corridor.
I think I do remember this.
Did I explain that right?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. And we are supportive of that type of an ordinance because it sort of goes along with our Vision Zero, our complete streets, building out a community, making it safe and the structure so that it works with all users. And a no right turn on red really does help the safety of pedestrians, bicyclists, all of that, and even drivers, because you're not looking to see if you can go and not paying attention to who is in the crosswalk. Anyway, while Addison was supporting that for AARP Indiana, along with some of our Indianapolis volunteers, Senator Freeman at the State House was putting in an amendment on second reading in the Senate to prohibit or preempt Indianapolis from doing that. And if you think it sounds ridiculous, it's because it is. So it was the ordinance passed out of the committee. It has to go to the full council now for review. But at the same time, House Bill 1050 contains that preemption language that is only targeted towards Marion County because it's the only consolidated city in the state.
Yep.
And it says consolidated city cannot put up signs for no turn on red in House Bill 1050.
So there's that.
But 1050 has been dissented upon and is going to conference as well. So we have been talking with folks and expressing our concern around this and that we would really like to see that language come out as well. So 1050 has not been scheduled for a conference committee yet, and only some of the conferees and advisors have been listed from the House. The Senate has not been assigned yet, so we're still waiting.
Okay. Maybe by the time you're watching this or seeing this, it may be scheduled. Who knows? But it's one of these things where City of Indianapolis is wanting to do one thing, folks at the State House don't like it, so they do something to prevent them from being able to do that.
But this is a direct attack on Indianapolis.
I would agree, and their ability to pass their own ordinances.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah,
it
isn't necessarily new that things like this have happened.
No.
But
we just kind of talked about this during our legislative team meeting on Monday about how other things.
There was, I think, something around housing once. There was some other
plastic bags.
Oh, that was down in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did that. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a theme that there are certain municipalities are passing ordinances that some folks at the State House don't like, and so they kind of go around that. And
I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm going to guess it's going to stay there, but we're going to work very hard to see if we can change that. But
okay,
again, another something to watch.
'Tis the season. Okay, well, is there, what else?
Moving right along.
Anything that is slightly more positive?
There is, but let's go with House Bill 1001
Let's
first.
do that because that's the big dog.
I can move on to a Senate bill that is kind of exciting news.
Yeah, so let's go to 1001. That's the elephant in the room, if you will.
Yeah, it's the state budget.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So the conference committee for House Bill 1001 was held this morning at 8:30. We are on Thursday. We are recording this on Thursday. There was just some discussion about what's not in the budget still, what people would like to see in the budget, sort of just a reminder of we all know what's there and what's not there, what we would like to be there. And so they recessed to do the majority of the discussions
behind closed doors,
behind the scenes. So what happens now? Well, we keep talking to legislators. We keep fighting for all of the amounts that we want in for all of the things that we're talking about, which includes behavioral and mental health funding, which goes to Senate Bill 1, the public health funding, which goes to Senate Bill 4, dementia coordinator money, that goes to House Bill 1422. I mean, there's so many things.
There's a lot of things.
I was just going to.
A lot of things.
I had my notes here and then I'm not even using them. I don't know what happened.
Because you just know what's going on.
Well, I did have here. Excuse me. It's right here. Making sure the residential housing infrastructure assistance fund remains there. Homelessness prevention grants, all of that stuff that we talked about. But there's still a lot to be determined, and not knowing what's going on, we're just going to have to keep talking with folks to kind of get a good handle on what the discussion is surrounding. Because I need to correct something. Last week, I have too many Okay.
There's a lot of papers over there.
Last week I said that the Governor's Public Health Commission that had requested certain funding for public health, and that the Senate kept it the same. Did I say that?
Possibly
I
like
think I
the
did.
top line numbers are the same as what the House. I'm gonna let you tell it because
Okay.
I obviously don't know what's going on.
I think I said that the Senate kept the same numbers as the House, so
Okay.
the 75 million, 150, even though they had the Governor's Public Health Commission had originally asked for 100, 200.
Yeah.
That is a correct statement, but there were other items that were not funded that were funded in the House, and I just want to make a quick comment about that. So there was funding for state level support, which like regional support for the local health departments to do all of this, these new core public health services and expanding out and working with partners. So there was supposed to be some technical assistance and support to counties. Data analytics that we talked about, keeping track of things, workforce planning, oral health program, all of this stuff. In the Senate, the technical assistance and support to counties was completely zero line item out. So there was no money for that.
That doesn't sound helpful.
It is not. And I forgot, I had not gone through everything to know that. So the other thing is that there's also a box for emergency preparedness, which deals with trauma system improvement, emergency medical services, so to bolster the EMS, all this stuff. That also, big fat goose egg from the Senate, $0. Zero. They had originally asked for 13.75 million the first year, 18 million the second year for this emergency preparedness. The House gave it 13.75 and 18 million, and the Senate gave it
zero.
I think I'm saying that right.
Look, I'm looking at it upside down, but it looks right.
This is the total of
what you're saying.
Yeah. So I just wanted to correct myself. This is a big deal. So we are heavily advocating for an increase back to the original request of the Governor's Public Health Commission to reinstate all of those funds to the level that they were requesting. We'll see. I mean, at this point, the House version is better than the Senate one. So I don't know.
Who would have thought?
It's crazy. But that's what I want to say about that. And everything else that we're watching and fighting for in the budget, we will continue to do so.
Okay.
Anything?
Go ahead.
Was it just yesterday that the forecast came out?
Oh yeah, I was actually going to say something. So yeah, the last revenue forecast before they vote on the budget was yesterday.
It
felt like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the state has like an extra $1 billion that they didn't necessarily.
I think 1.5 billion.
So $1.5 billion, no big deal.
Right.
So the General Assembly actually has more revenue to work with than they thought they were when they were writing this thing earlier on when the session started.
Yes, because what the Senate was dealing with before the forecast, our budget is about a $43.3 billion budget for 2 years. And they're holding back in the Senate, they're holding back about 3.2 billion in reserves. But with that all said, now that this bill has moved to conference and we have the revenue forecast showing that we are $1.5 billion up, we better start funding some of this stuff.
One would think.
I don't know that we're going to see that.
But we will see what happens. So it's one of those things where you would think that this would be good news because you got all this you got this revenue coming in that wasn't necessarily planned for, so that you can maybe fund a few more, these projects that you didn't think there was going to be money for. And then now it's there, and people are just like, I still don't know.
You still don't know.
I still don't know to do this money, which is a little confusing to me, but I guess we'll see what they decide they want to do.
Yes. And the last thing I wanted to mention that we are following, because I'm going to cough here and it's going to be really loud.
Turn your volume down.
Excuse me. The Hoosiers, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, why did I just lose the name of this? I'm sorry.
What's
hold
this?
on. The Housing Stability Pilot Fund.
Okay.
My apologies. So, if you remember correctly, we sit on the Hoosier Housing Needs Coalition, and we have been advocating also in the budget to include a Housing Stability Pilot Fund. We have been requesting $10 million in the final version of the budget to mitigate housing instability. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Okay.
She's hanging on. She's hanging on.
The existing Housing Stability Network has been successful in providing case management, housing counseling services, and preparing at-risk households to not be evicted or to prevent eviction. And I think this Housing Stability Pilot Fund that we're asking to be funded would provide a targeted, flexible, community-driven solution to address some of these things that were already happening, but that fund there's no money in it. So this Housing Stability Pilot Fund would add in $10 million to continue all of that work. And I think that this is this was one of HHNC's top priority. So something else that we're really asking for in the budget, especially with the forecast, we can do some of these things and continue to invest in Hoosiers across the state. So I just wanted to mention that. We just have a lot of things that we're asking for money in the budget. But I did want to mention the Housing Stability Pilot Fund.
Well, hopefully, like you said, with the additional revenue coming in, that maybe a little bit can go to some of these programs that are going to do a lot of good for a lot of folks in our state.
Yep. But
here's hoping.
I can hurry up. We got two more.
Okay.
Senate Bill 1 is the Behavioral and Mental Health Bill.
Yep.
Remember, no money attached to it. It's all in the budget.
Okay.
Hopefully more will get to be in the budget. Senate Bill 1 actually went back to the House and it was concurred upon.
Okay.
So that's good news.
Yeah, that's good.
Except for we just need to make sure that the funding gets in.
That there's money for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Senate Bill 4, Public Health.
Yeah, we're hoping that they...
It went back to the Senate and it was dissented upon.
Okay, so that's going to go to conference committee. Okay.
But remember, Senate Bill 4 still doesn't have any money in it. So we're still kind of fighting over not only how Senate Bill 4 is written, like how the public health departments the local public health departments would use this extra funding. How does it all work? How does it trickle down? Is it a grant program? Is it not? All of these things are going to be worked out. But Senate Bill 4 is going to be in conference committee with the same thing as House Bill 1001, which is in conference. And we have to fight for the funding in 1001, but also to make sure we get what we want in Senate Bill 4. So it really does end up the way that the Governor's Public Health Commission really wanted this to work. So lots going on. And Senate Bill 4 has not been scheduled yet.
Okay.
To my knowledge. But I'm going to check right now because sometimes things get posted. No.
Okay.
Conferees haven't even been added.
Look, we just threw a lot at you. And there's a lot of incoming on this side of the things as well. So, man, that is just, you got to sneeze?
I'm really trying not to.
All right, well, let's.
My allergies are real. They're real.
Also, 'tis the season. So for those of you that are dealing with allergies,
I feel
hang in there.
Yeah.
She is taking all the allergies for you. And for those of you that are paying close attention to the Indiana General Assembly, we are also here for you. Let us know how we can help. And hopefully we'll get some action items for you all out there to help us out in this last week of the Indiana General Assembly as it's coming up. It's almost there. Hang in there, Amber. Hang in there to all of you. This is it's tough going sometimes.
9 days.
But who is counting, really?
Me.
Well, I think let's keep that countdown rolling, and including in that countdown, the next time we have this show, hopefully, I think the session's gonna be over, maybe close to.
I wouldn't. Let's not.
Okay, I didn't say it out loud. Just kidding.
I don't want to jinx anything because the 29th is actually Friday.
Is that a
isn't it?
Friday?
I think it is.
So we might talk right before session ends again.
Yeah, because I think. Let me just double check here. No, the 29th is a Saturday. So they could.
They could be
They
done.
could go. They could go to Saturday.
They could go to Saturday. Maybe they want to end early.
That's not what I was gonna say. Oh my!
I'm just.
We're wrapping up right now
I was
because
just project. I was trying to make it so.
there have been
putting it out there into the universe.
jinx and all happened all over here.
All right, I'm gonna go outside, turn around 3 times, and spit over my shoulder or whatever it is. Throw some salt. Is that how it works? I don't know. Spitting, and then
I have no idea.
I forget how it goes. I gotta.
When my sister does this, I just tell her to take it back really fast. I'll say, "Take it back." No, take it back right now.
I take it back.
All of it.
All of it. Everything I've said in this entire show, I take it back.
I don't know that does that work?
Is it too far?
That might be a step too far.
Okay. Well, let's just wrap it up before I say something else. It's gonna get me into trouble. For those of you, thank you for listening, for watching. Stay tuned as we get into the very end of session, whenever it ends. It's gonna happen at some point. Most likely it's got to be by the 29th. And when it does, we'll be here for you to talk more about it on the next episode of The Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. We will see you then.